Hello whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings from Oudenaarde coming to you. And Oudenaarde here in the Flanders does have some historical significance, not only for the First and Second World War, but moreover in the 16th century, 1566 to be precise, it was the epicenter of the Beelden storm, the statue storm, let me put it that way, when the locals who were Protestants actually fought Catholicism that was imposed upon them by King Philip II all the way from Spain. He even sent his sister, Margaret of Parma, down here in Oudenaarde to rule the peasants. And I'll have you know that Margaret was actually the daughter of Charles V. There you go. She ruled the peasants from here in the city of Oudenaarde. What's also important is that Oudenaarde is a place where they are famous for brewing dark beers. But I'm not here to talk to you about beers, of course, nor the history of Oudenaarde. I'm here to talk to you about whiskey. And today's whiskey is Cragganmore. You may not have heard of Cragganmore because it's not that well known a distillery, and that has everything to do with the fact that this Highland single malt produces primarily for the blends. Johnnie Walker Green Label, ring a bell? Cragganmore. That's one of the reasons why the Cragganmore output, the core range, is very, very small. There's only two expressions, the 14 years old and this one, the Distillers Edition. Now, as you know, Distillers Edition is actually one of the classic malts, but with a second maturation. And in case of Cragganmore, the second maturation is on port casks. This is bottled at 40% ABV, and the port casks have given this beautiful malt somewhat a coppery sheen, let me put it that way. Copper is the right descriptor. So this is distilled in 2007 and bottled in 2019, making this a, 12 years old. Cragganmore 12, correct? Yeah, correct. Anyway, moving on. Cragganmore Distillers Edition on port casks on the nose. Actually, that's quite excellent. I get dried yellow fruit with a handful of hazelnuts. Some marzipan. It's sweet and sour at the same time. And I get something that reminds me a bit of the sap of green twigs, you know. Then some vanilla custard as well. A hint of smoke. Now that hint of smoke gives it some complexity and depth. This is quite good, in fact. Now where does that hint of smoke come from? I'll have you know, not many people know this, but I'll have you know that Cragganmore actually uses part of their production is produced with lightly peated malt. I kid you not. Right, on the palate. The body is rather light, but the dried fruit returns immediately, and it is upholstered here with some cranberry maybe, some strawberry, some raspberry, all kinds of berries. Some black tea as well, giving it a slightly drying effect there. Sweet barley sugars, and again that wonderful trace of smoke. This really is from the used peat. There's no other way around it. Never mind now. This is actually very, very good. And the port cask has added that little twist of red fruit in there, giving it some broadness, some complexity, some weight on the finish. I would have liked the finish to be just a tad little longer. It is just a bit longer than short, to be fair, but nevertheless it remains sweet and sour and very fruity, a bit drying towards the end. But if I'm being honest, it's nice, but it might have been just a tad bit longer. Having said that, this is another one of those underrated, unknown or lesser known malts, to say the least. And that's a bit of a pity, because this is the type of malts that we can obtain. They're easily available and they are affordable. So I think it's a good idea that from time to time to reach back to these somewhat basic malts like this Cragganmore Distillers Edition. You can put this on your shelf for around 55 euros in my neck of the woods, so what's not to like? And that's all for this whiskey rambling from the beautiful historical city of Oudenaarde, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye-bye.